love coffee, you guys. I love coffee so freaking much. It is just one of those things that you put in your mouth and you swallow, and then it feels like a hug on the inside. I'm gonna get kicked off YouTube if I keep talking like that. I bet you anything. You have to be careful. You have to be family friendly, or YouTube, they'll just kick you right off. Okay, so this week I thought that it would be an interesting topic to talk about staying true to yourself. I talk about being yourself a lot. I'm always like, be yourself. That was a little Robin Williams reference in case you didn't pick that up. I'm always talking about being yourself, and it's the best thing to be, and you need to be yourself. You need to embrace yourself. I'm a big be yourself pill pusher. Okay, that's what I do. I push that positivity all the time. I'm a big P pusher. But I thought that it would be interesting to kind of just talk about staying true to yourself, because that's kind of a different thing. It's similar, but it's different, and it's something that I have to kind of use in making judgments in my work all the time, because I have a lot of things put before me, a lot of choices, a lot of opportunities, and if I take those opportunities, ultimately it's going to affect my life and my brand and what I do, this way or that way. And I really have to look at everything all the time, because just the smallest change or if I alter who I am or how I do things, even the slightest bit, it's going to affect me. It could affect me a lot. It could affect me a little. It could be positive. It could be negative, depending on all the different factors. Yes. But I think that for me, being true to myself has always been kind of a difficult thing, because I never really knew who I was for a very, very long time. And I think that that's something we have to, put in the forefront of our minds, and remember that, we're growing human beings, especially when you're in the younger generations. You're a growing individual. You're not who you're going to be in 5 years or 10 years or like even 2 years. I mean, just within the 4 years of my big life change, it's been an amazing thing to see, because who I am now was not who I was in the beginning, and I went through all of these different phases. My most colorful one being about a year, 2 years ago now, when I was going through a lot of stuff in my life. I was going through a lot of traumatic things, a lot of emotional things. I was trying to get a hold of my own anxiety and depression, and I was trying to find my feet as a new single mother who was out there in the world doing just doing life like anybody else. And there was a lot of changes, and I was learning to cope and evolve and function and just do life like anybody else. But there was a lot of changing, and there was a lot of growing, and I couldn't be who I am now if I didn't go through that portion of my life. And that portion was challenged by a lot of people. A lot of people were like, you can't be this way. This isn't you. You shouldn't act this way. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't do this. It's not good for you. And ultimately, I could either, take everything that everybody else was telling me, or I could stay true to what my heart was telling me and what my gut was telling me at the time. And what that was telling me was, you need to explore this part of yourself. You need to embrace this section, this piece of your life, this piece of your journey, so you can see where the hell it's going to take you. And I can understand where, people are going to see, the people who know you are going to see you go through different things in your life. And when they really know you and they love you and they have the best interest for you, they're going to support you in anything that's not bad for you. You know what I mean? Somebody who genuinely loves you and cares about you, if you're not doing something that's ultimately really harming you or really bad for you, they're going to let you go through it. Even if they don't understand it, they're going to be like, well, I mean, I don't know what she's doing right now, but she seems okay. She seems happy. I've been checking in on her. She's not, hurting herself or other people. She's not doing anything that's self-destructive or going to cause any type of damage. She's just experimenting, and she's just, exploring this new avenue of her personality or who she is, whatever. But you have to go through those things. And people who love you and know you are going to be like, okay, well, whatever it is that you're into right now, we love you, we're here for you, and let's just take that journey with you. And then there's going to be people who are going to tell you, no, you can't do that. I'm uncomfortable. This isn't who you've always been. I don't like it. It makes me question things. Like, people who ultimately just care about how it's affecting them, they usually aren't the type of people who have your best interest at heart. They have their best interest at heart. That's for sure. This is Max. Come here. This is Max. Say hello. He doesn't really like to be held. He likes my boyfriend to hold him, but he doesn't really like anybody else to hold him. He's his own cat, to say the least. But I guess my thing is that you're always going to be challenged in life, in everything, including, who you are. And I think that it's really important that until we get to a point in our lives where we're secure, we know where we are, we know who we are, we're in a healthy state of mind, I think that it's important that we protect the fact that we're not there yet, and we stay true to who we are. Not what other people want us to be, but who we are. If we're not harming ourselves, if we're not doing things that are dangerous or unhealthy, if we're just exploring and experimenting and enjoying all the different vast streams that are in this world when you actually get out into it, there's nothing wrong with that. And people try to make you question yourself because they're confused. And you already know, you're sitting there going, no, I know who I am. I know who I am right now, and this is what I'm into, and this is what I love, and this is what I want to explore and find out about. Then do that. You can't let other people come in and be like, hey, I don't understand this, so I'm going to need you to stop, okay? No, we don't do that. That's not how we live. That's not how we do things in life. And I get it a lot in, my work. There's a lot of things where, there's things presented to me. Hey, we want you to do this, or hey, we would like it if you were involved in this. And really, when I read into it and you do research, and I'm like, whoa, I couldn't do that because I would have to sacrifice parts of me, or I would have to sacrifice things that I believe in, or ways that I think things should be done. I don't want to sacrifice parts of who I am just so I could get this money, or I could get this sponsor, or I could get this publication. Like, there's been a lot of times where it's like you can either stay true to who you are and not falter in that, or you could kind of break down a lot of who you are and kind of put it in this pile over here and just pretend you don't see it. So then you could get this money, or you could get this sponsor. And really, in the end, what does that do for me? It's a temporary fix in a sense. It's like this instant gratification because I sacrificed parts of who I was to get a, quick, outcome. That's how a lot of people think life works. And a lot of people are constantly trying to cut those corners, and they're trying to find the easy way out or find the easy way to win. And that's not how we're meant to function. That's not how we're meant to live. We have to learn, and we have to explore, and we have to figure out who we are, so then we can take on challenges and help other people in the world with, what we learn along the way. You're not supposed to just get everything easy, be all, know all, see all. I mean, that's not how it works whatsoever. Do you like my cup? I got this cup from my family, my forever above me family. You guys know I love to talk about my cup. If you guys want one of these cups, you can send them a message over on one of their social media platforms, and they will hook you up. I guess my point in everything is, you have to be true to who you are before you can really take on anything. And it's going to take a long time to figure out who you are. And I think that it's really important that each phase of your life that you go through, that you stay true to wherever your heart is in that moment. And it's really easy to question yourself. I am really, really good at questioning myself and who I am. And I think a lot of times people are so quick to just absorb whoever they're around. You know what I mean? There's so many people whoever they're with at the time is who they are. And instead of learning about themselves, they're working really hard to be like other people. And ultimately, you just have this kind of empty, lost shell of a person walking around, trying to find anywhere that they can kind of plug into and start downloading information and data because they don't know. They've always just been whoever they've hung out with. They've never really been their own entity, their own person. And that's a huge issue. So I think that protecting yourself when you're young and you're at your most vulnerable, impressionable state, that it's important to just be yourself in that moment. There's so many things that you could, of course, be like and be inspired by, but don't morph into that. You know what I mean? Don't still be you. You're allowed to like things and you're allowed to have all these different shades and spectrums of who you are and what you like. I went through that a lot when I first got into pinup. It's like you feel like you have to only be this one thing to prove that you're allowed to like it or that you're allowed to be a part of it. And the pinup and rockabilly scene is big like that, just like anything else. You have to be ride or die. You have to look this way 24/7, 7 days a week. If you didn't come out of the womb with victory rolls, bitch, you don't belong here. It's stuff like that that's really, a lot. And I had that pressure where I felt like, I like so many things. I'm a lover of stuff. I'm a very, I just love things. It's like treasure to me. I love all different types of stuff. It could be totally different spectrum from one thing, like vintage, and then I also like, lots of things that aren't vintage. I like really modern things sometimes. I just like everything. And you shouldn't ever limit yourself just because there's a pressure that if you don't limit yourself, then you're not a true supporter of that thing. But if you like this, then you also can't like this thing. Like, the whole thing is just a ridiculous mindset, and you should never limit yourself. Be who you are in that moment. If you like X, you're also allowed to like Z, and you're allowed to explore anything in between. Does that make sense? Sometimes I worry that I'm just sitting here rambling on, looking out my window, not really knowing what it is I'm talking about, but I'm just having a conversation with me and all of the other people in my head. I guess in closing, because it's just kind of been a weird week for me. I feel weird right now. I feel like I've had a lot of anxiety strains. I've had a lot of emotional triggers. And it's definitely not because anything's going on. It's just that's things that happen in our lives. Like when you have anxiety and you have depression and you have mental things, it's always a hit or miss. Sometimes I feel like one person, sometimes I feel like another person. So it's been an interesting week. And the one thing that I've been falling back on is just keeping true to who I am and my original vision of what I'm doing with my life, and keeping my passions real, keeping my creativity real, um, and kind of just trying to take it easy on myself, because you can be really hard on yourself when you have things like anxiety that keep you from acting on things that you want to normally act on. You know, you second guess yourself, or you don't follow through, or whatever it is that's giving you issues. And I'm trying really hard not to be hard on myself in those moments. I think that we all need to learn that it's okay sometimes to not be okay. And we get caught up on constantly putting out this image of perfection and happiness and what we think people would want to see us be doing, you know, on social media, when really there's so many other things going on behind the scenes. And those are the things that are also part of you. And I think that's why I'm so open when I'm going through things, because I don't think anybody should feel like they have to hide the less sparkly parts of themselves to have the really sparkly parts appreciated. I love all your parts. Just don't send me pictures of all your parts and we'll be okay. But I think that I've probably been talking long enough. So here's to this week and us kicking its butt. I have several things that I'm going to be trying to get done. Like I have some lip products I need to review. I have to do a shoot for these beautiful hand-carved wooden hangers that my friends at Two Feather Plugs sent me. Aren't they gorgeous? They're so light and comfortable. I'm going to be doing a shoot based around these. And also I did another look video that I have to edit and put together. Those are a lot of work. But I'm trying to push myself. I'm trying to challenge myself and keep pushing towards more amazing content for you guys. You guys have been leaving me a lot of really encouraging comments on my videos that inspire me to keep going. So I want to thank you for that. Just feel free to share if I do anything that inspires you. Feel free to share my work. That always helps and supports what I'm doing, and I appreciate that. But until then, remember that these are the days that fill your week, darling. Make them absolutely amazing, because you're amazing, and I love your faces. We'll see you next week.